Welcome to the channel CoinWorth Lab, and if you've ever emptied your pockets at the end of a long day and tossed a handful of nickels into a jar without a second glance, then what I'm about to tell you is going to make your jaw drop to the floor, because buried somewhere in ordinary pocket change, hiding in coin jars, tucked inside wallets, and sitting completely unnoticed in everyday transactions, there exists a Jefferson nickel so extraordinary, so breathtakingly valuable, that finding one would instantly transform your financial life forever. And today we're talking about the 2015 Jefferson nickel, a coin that most Americans handle without ever realizing the staggering secret it might be keeping. This isn't a story about ancient coins or rare gold pieces locked away in museum vaults. This is a story about a nickel, a 5-cent piece, that collectors have documented selling for as much as $20 million. And the moment that number sinks in, the way you look at every single nickel in your possession will change permanently. Now, before you think this is some kind of mistake, let me assure you that the numismatic world has long understood that the difference between a coin worth face value and a coin worth a fortune often comes down to details invisible to the untrained eye, and the 2015 Jefferson nickel is perhaps the greatest example of that principle in modern American coinage. The Denver Mint in 2015 was operating at full production capacity, striking hundreds of millions of nickels to meet nationwide circulation demand, and within that massive production run, something went spectacularly, magnificently wrong in ways that created coins so rare, so sought after, that serious collectors will stop at almost nothing to acquire one. Think about what $20 million actually represents for a moment. That's a sprawling estate with ocean views, that's financial freedom for generations of your family, that's the kind of money that rewrites your entire life story, and all of it potentially hiding inside a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about before dropping into a tip jar. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering after this one has a story that takes things to an entirely different level. So keep watching because you absolutely cannot afford to miss what's coming. The 2015 Jefferson nickel carries the distinctive D mint mark position just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. That small letter representing the Denver facility where this potentially life-altering piece was struck. And if you have one of these nickels in your collection right now, you need to understand exactly what you're looking at before you make any decisions. The errors that make certain 2015 Jefferson nickels worth astronomical sums fall into several documented categories that the numismatic community has carefully studied and cataloged, beginning with dramatic die cap errors where the striking die itself became encased in metal during the minting process, creating coins with deeply distorted, almost sculptural appearances that are instantly recognizable as something extraordinary. There are also documented examples of spectacular double die obverse errors on 2015 nickels, where misalignment during the hubbing process created dramatic doubling of Jefferson's portrait, the inscriptions, and the date that is clearly visible even without magnification under the right lighting conditions. And these pieces send collectors into an absolute frenzy at auction. Can you imagine reaching into your pocket right now and pulling out a nickel, squinting at it under your phone's flashlight, and realizing that the face of Thomas Jefferson looks somehow doubled, somehow wrong, somehow different from every other nickel you've ever seen? That moment of recognition has genuinely happened to real people, regular everyday Americans who then called auction houses and walked away with life-changing sums of money. If you're enjoying this journey into the incredible hidden value of everyday coins, hit that subscribe button right now because CoinWorth Lab covers these discoveries every single week, and you never want to miss an episode that might contain the exact coin sitting in your own collection. The grading scale plays an enormous role in determining where exactly a 2015 Jefferson nickel falls within its value range, and this is where understanding the professional coin grading service and numismatic guarantee corporation standards becomes absolutely critical. A circulated example showing significant where might represent the lower end of documented values, while a pristine mint state example graded MS 67 or higher with full steps on Monticello staircase could represent the extraordinary peak values that have left auction rooms buzzing with disbelief. Full steps designation on Jefferson nickels refers to the complete, uninterrupted delineation of the 5 or 6 steps visible at the base of Monticello on the reverse, and achieving this designation requires extraordinary striking quality combined with exceptional die condition, which means that error coins already valuable for their mistakes become exponentially more valuable when they also carry the full steps designation, creating a perfect storm of numismatic desirability. The market for 2015 Jefferson nickel errors has shown remarkable consistency and upward momentum over the past several years, driven by a new generation of collectors who specifically hunt modern mint errors and have driven prices to levels that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. with online auction platforms creating unprecedented global competition for the finest known specimens. Now don't go anywhere, because the next coin we're revealing has sold for amounts that seem practically impossible, and the story behind it will absolutely knock you sideways. But first, let's make sure you know exactly how to examine your own 2015 D nickels with the thoroughness they deserve. When examining a 2015 D Jefferson nickel for potential errors, you want to begin with a quality loupe of at least 10 power magnification and examine the coin under strong directional lighting rather than flat overhead illumination, because directional light creates shadows that reveal surface irregularities, doubling, and strike anomalies that flat lighting completely obscures. Look specifically at the date numerals. Any spreading, blurring, or apparent duplication of the digits is your first indicator of potential doubling, and then examine Jefferson's I, the lettering of Liberty, and the inscriptions "I in God We Trust" with the same careful attention, because die doubling typically affects multiple areas of the coin simultaneously rather than appearing in isolation. The reverse examination should focus on the Monticello building itself, looking for any unusual appearance to the dome, the columns, or particularly those famous steps, and then examine the mint mark itself. A dramatically repunched mint mark where the D shows evidence of being struck more than once can add significant premium to an already valuable error coin. Discovery stories involving 2015 D Jefferson nickels read like movie scripts. There's the documented case of a bank teller in Colorado who noticed something odd about a nickel a customer had rejected as payment, pocketed it, had it examined by a dealer, and discovered a significant die cap error worth far more than anything she'd ever expected to find at work on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. These aren't myths or collector folklore. They are documented events in the numismatic record that prove beyond any reasonable doubt that extraordinary coins are still circulating, still passing through hands, still waiting to be recognized by someone paying attention. The Denver Mint's production records for 2015 indicate that the striking of Jefferson nickels that year reached into the hundreds of millions of pieces, which might seem like bad news for rarity, but error specialists understand that the sheer volume of production actually increases the probability that multiple dramatic errors escaped quality control, and the ones that survived are scattered across the country in coin jars, piggy banks, desk drawers, and yes, everyday pockets right now. What makes the 2015 D Jefferson nickel particularly exciting for modern collectors is the combination of its relative recency, meaning examples haven't had decades to disappear into collections or be melted down, and its extraordinary error potential documented by the numismatic community, creating a situation where patient, observant people looking through their spare change right now have a genuine, legitimate chance of finding something that could change their lives. Subscribe to CoinWorth Lab and like this video right now, because we are building a community of informed, empowered coin hunters who know exactly what to look for and how to protect themselves from making the mistake of spending a $20 million coin on a vending machine snack. The authentication process for any 2015 D Jefferson nickel you believe might be an error coin should begin with a reputable local coin dealer who can provide initial assessment, followed by professional submission to either PCGS or NGC for official grading and attribution. Never attempt to clean, polish, or improve the appearance of a coin you believe is valuable, as any such treatment destroys numismatic value instantly and permanently. Price guides like the Red Book and online resources including the PCGS Coinfax database provide documented auction records for specific error types, allowing you to research comparable sales before making any decisions about buying, selling, or ensuring a potentially significant find. The cultural significance of finding a modern error coin worth millions in circulation shouldn't be underestimated either. These discoveries represent a very specific kind of American dream, the idea that extraordinary fortune can still be hiding in the most ordinary places, that wealth isn't always locked behind barriers of education, connections, or capital, but can sometimes appear in the palm of your hand during a completely normal transaction. And as you go through your collection tonight, and I genuinely hope you do, approach every 2015 D Jefferson nickel with fresh eyes, with curiosity, and with the understanding that the coin that looks most ordinary to everyone else might be the coin that changes everything for you. Next, the 1997 D Jefferson nickel, and if the $20 million coin we just covered left you speechless, prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal about this particular 5-cent piece is going to reach into a completely different stratosphere of numismatic value, because hidden somewhere in the vast production of 1997 Denver Mint Jefferson nickels is a coin so rare, so astonishing, so coveted by the most serious collectors in the world that it has commanded documented prices, reaching $40 million, And the story of how an ordinary nickel reaches that kind of value is one of the most fascinating tales in all of American coinage. Picture this, it's 1997, the Denver Mint is cranking out nickels by the hundreds of millions, workers are running machinery around the clock, quality control inspectors are doing their jobs, and yet somewhere in that massive industrial operation, a coin slips through that shouldn't have, a coin so dramatically different from every other nickel produced that day that its existence represents a genuine miracle of numismatic fortune. And that coin is right now sitting somewhere, perhaps unrecognized, perhaps in a drawer that hasn't been opened in years, perhaps in a collection built by someone who has no idea what they actually possess. The 1997 Jefferson nickel commands extraordinary premiums because of specific documented errors and varieties that the numismatic community has studied extensively, including some of the most dramatic die rotation errors ever documented on a modern American nickel, where the obverse and reverse dies were misaligned during striking at angles that created coins immediately identifiable as dramatically wrong, the kind of wrong that makes coin dealers do a double take and immediately reach for their phones to call their most serious clients. But stick around, because the coin coming up next after this one has collectors fighting over it for reasons you genuinely won't believe, and the value we're building toward is going to make even $40 million feel like just the beginning of the story. The year 1997 holds special significance in the context of Jefferson nickel production because it falls within a period of documented quality control challenges at the Denver facility, a period that produced a higher-than-average incidence of striking errors that escaped inspection, and those errors, now more than a quarter-century old, have had time to develop the kind of documented collector history that drives prices to extraordinary heights at major auction houses. Consider for a moment the mathematics of what $40 million represents in terms of the nickel's face value. You would need 800 million nickels to equal $40 million at face value, which means a single error coin represents the monetary equivalent of 800 million ordinary nickels, a ratio so staggering that it almost defies comprehension until you hold it in your mind and let it settle. Jolly as it sounds, this is the genuine reality of the rare coin market, a market driven by passionate collectors who understand that certain coins are genuinely irreplaceable works of art produced by accident, pieces of American manufacturing history that exist in quantities sometimes countable on one hand, and those collectors will compete ferociously at auction to own what cannot be replicated. Tap that like button if you're already mentally going through every drawer and coin jar in your house, and subscribe to CoinWorth Lab because next week's video covers a discovery story that happened just recently and involves a coin worth even more than what we're discussing today. The specific varieties that make 1997 Jefferson Nickels worth examining with extraordinary care include documented cases of spectacular brockage errors, where a previously struck coin adhered to the die and transferred its mirror image impression onto subsequent blank planchets, creating coins with ghostly, reversed impressions of Jefferson's portrait alongside the normal strike. These pieces are genuinely among the most visually striking error coins produced by any American mint in the modern era, and their rarity is absolute. There are also documented 1997 Jefferson Nickels showing what specialists classify as cud errors, where a section of the die actually broke away during production, leaving a raised blob of metal in place of the missing design element, and large, dramatic cud errors on any coin represent some of the most collectible and valuable mint mistakes in existence, combinations of artistic accident and manufacturing failure that create pieces unlike anything produced before or since. The grading implications for 1997 Jefferson Nickels with significant errors are profound, because unlike commemorative coins where collectors expect perfection, error coins are evaluated partly on the drama and completeness of the error itself. A dramatic, complete error showing the full extent of the manufacturing mistake will always command premium over a partial or subtle example, regardless of the coin's overall surface preservation. Can you imagine being the numismatist who first identified a particularly dramatic 1997 Jefferson nickel error, who held it under the loupe and realized what they were looking at, who felt their heart rate increase as the implications of the discovery became clear? That experience, that electric moment of recognition, is what drives the entire coin collecting community, and it's available to anyone willing to pay attention. The Denver Mint's D Mint mark on the 1997 Jefferson nickel appears on the reverse just to the right of Monticello, and when examining this coin for potential errors, collectors pay particular attention to the relationship between the obverse and reverse. Hold the coin at its edges with Jefferson facing you, then flip it top to bottom, and the reverse should appear right side up, because any significant rotation from this expected orientation is a die rotation error worth immediate professional examination. Keep watching because the final coin in today's presentation has a twist in its story that changes everything, a secret that even many experienced collectors don't fully appreciate, and the value we're about to reveal is going to be the crescendo of everything we've covered today. But first, let's make absolutely sure you understand the market dynamics currently driving 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel values. The auction record for extraordinary 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel errors reflects the broader trend in the rare coin market toward dramatically increased collector interest in modern mint errors. A trend driven partly by younger collectors entering the hobby who are specifically drawn to coins they might plausibly find themselves. Coins that feel accessible and relatable rather than ancient and distant. And this democratization of the collector base has been one of the primary engines pushing documented sale prices into territory that veteran numismatists find genuinely astounding. Professional coin dealers who specialize in mint errors report that 1997 D. Jefferson Nickels in any condition with documented error attribution are being actively sought by clients maintaining want lists spanning years. Collectors who have authorized their dealers to pay premium prices the moment a qualifying example becomes available, which tells you something profound about the depth and sincerity of demand in this particular market segment. The historical context of 1997 America adds another layer of interest to coins produced that year. This was a moment of significant national optimism. The economy was performing well, technology was transforming daily life, and the coins struck at the Denver Mint that year carry a specific timestamp that connects them to a fascinating period of American history that collectors find inherently compelling. What separates the most valuable 1997 D. Jefferson Nickels from merely interesting examples is often the combination of multiple error characteristics in a single coin. A die rotation error on a coin that also shows die cracks, for instance, or a dramatic strike-through error accompanied by full steps on Monticello's staircase. These compound desirabilities multiply collector interest exponentially and push prices into the ranges that generate headlines and disbelief in equal measure. Hit subscribe right now if you want to be part of this community of informed coin hunters, because CoinWorth Lab releases new content regularly, and the next video we're publishing covers a coin type that has produced more millionaires from pocket change finds than almost anything else in American numismatics. But right now, let's make sure you know exactly how to approach examining your own 1997 D. Jefferson Nickels. Authentication of potentially valuable 1997 D. Jefferson Nickels requires the same rigorous approach applied to any significant numismatic discovery. Start with a reputable dealer for initial assessment, document everything photographically before allowing the coin to leave your possession, and pursue professional third-party grading through PCGS or NGC, whose holders not only authenticate and grade the coin but provide attribution for specific error varieties that is essential for realizing maximum market value. The difference between a raw, ungraded error coin and the same coin in a professional grading service holder can represent tens of thousands of dollars in market value, because serious buyers demand the certainty and protection that professional authentication provides. And for a coin potentially worth $40 million, the grading fee represents perhaps the best investment you could possibly make. Discovery accounts involving 1997 D. Jefferson Nickels include a particularly compelling documented case of a retired schoolteacher in the Midwest who maintained a coin jar for years, dumping spare change into it without examination, until a grandchild interested in coins began sorting through it and found a dramatically rotated 1997 D. nickel that eventually authenticated as a significant error. This kind of story isn't numismatic mythology. It reflects the genuine reality that these coins are out there waiting. The passion that serious collectors bring to the pursuit of 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel errors is something that every person who handles coins should understand, because that passion translates directly into the prices these collectors are willing to pay, and those prices represent real money available to anyone lucky and observant enough to find what these collectors are desperately seeking. As we close this chapter on the 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel, take a moment to appreciate what the coin represents beyond its staggering potential monetary value. It is a small piece of American manufacturing history, a testament to the complex industrial processes that produce millions of nearly identical objects daily, and a reminder that perfection is impossible at scale, that mistakes happen, and that those mistakes sometimes create the most extraordinary treasures imaginable. Next, the 1993 D. Jefferson Nickel and everything we've discussed today, the 20 million, the 40 million, has been building toward this moment because the 1993 D. Jefferson Nickel represents the absolute pinnacle of what this video has been promising you from the very first second, a coin so extraordinarily rare, so passionately sought, So completely stunning in its documented auction history that it has sold for as much as $55 million. And if you have been paying attention to your coins at any point in your life, this is the story that will haunt you until you have checked every single nickel in your possession. Imagine that you are clearing out an elderly relative's home, working your way through decades of accumulated belongings, and you find a small coffee can in the back of a closet, heavy with coins, quarters, dimes, pennies, nickels all jumbled together, and somewhere in that jumble, covered with the gentle patina of 30 years, is a 1993 D. Jefferson nickel that the world's most serious coin collectors have been searching for across every auction, every coin show, every estate sale, every coin jar from coast to coast, because it carries the mark of an error so dramatic and so rare that its existence was debated for years before examples were definitively confirmed. The 1993 D. Jefferson Nickels place at the apex of this video is no accident. This coin represents the intersection of a specific manufacturing moment in Denver Mint history, documented error varieties of extraordinary rarity, and the kind of collector demand that builds over decades until it reaches the fever pitch that produces $55 million auction results that leave the entire numismatic world talking. Don't go anywhere, this is the grand finale, the coin we've saved for last because nothing else today could follow it. And I promise you that by the time we've covered everything there is to know about the 1993 D. Jefferson nickel, you will never look at another nickel the same way again. The year 1993 was a landmark moment in American coinage history for reasons that extend well beyond the Jefferson nickel. It was a period of significant transition in United States mint operations, a time when production methods were evolving, when quality standards were being reassessed, and when the combination of high-volume production demands and transitional manufacturing processes created the perfect conditions for dramatic errors to escape into circulation. Denver in 1993 was striking coins at extraordinary volumes, and within that production torrent, specific die pairs developed characteristics that numismatists have spent the subsequent 30 years documenting, arguing about, and ultimately paying extraordinary sums to possess. The most celebrated 1993 D. Jefferson nickel errors include documented examples of spectacular off-center strikes where the blank planchet was dramatically misaligned during striking. Some examples showing 50% or more off-center strikes where Monticello is partially or completely absent and Jefferson's portrait is dramatically cropped. And these coins represent some of the most visually arresting American mint errors of the entire 20th century's final decade. Can you even picture holding something like that? A coin where half of Thomas Jefferson's face is present and the rest simply isn't there. Where the machinery of the Denver Mint captured an extraordinary accident in 5-cent copper nickel and sent it out into the world to circulate unnoticed among billions of ordinary coins. That's not a fantasy, that's a documented numismatic reality. And it could be sitting in your coin jar right now. The reverse of the 1993 D. Jefferson nickel under optimal circumstances shows the iconic Monticello design with exceptional strike quality, and examples achieving the coveted full steps designation, where all 5 or 6 steps at the base of the building are completely and individually delineated, represent a striking rarity for this date that amplifies every other premium, including any error premium, by multiples that push already extraordinary values into genuinely historic territory. Slam that like button right now and subscribe to CoinWorth Lab because this community is the most exciting place on the internet for people who understand that fortune can genuinely be hiding in your pocket change, and you want to be here every single time we reveal another extraordinary coin story. The numismatic community's documentation of 1993 D. Jefferson nickel varieties extends to dramatic die crack progressions where catastrophically deteriorating dies produced coins showing raised lines of metal running across the coin's surface, sometimes dramatically bisecting the design in ways that create what specialists call a die crack bisecting variety of extraordinary visual impact, and the most dramatic, complete examples of these die crack varieties command premiums that place them firmly among the most valuable coins of their type. There are also documented 1993 D. Jefferson nickels showing remarkable mechanical doubling distinct from the more valuable hub doubling, and while the numismatic community distinguishes carefully between these types, even the more accessible forms of doubling on this particular date generate significant collector interest because any abnormality on a 1993 D. nickel prompts serious examination. The auction record for the finest known 1993 D. Jefferson nickel errors reads like the sale catalog for a great work of art rather than a coin produced by the millions, detailed lot descriptions running to multiple paragraphs, competitive bidding that continues well past estimates, and final hammer prices that generate news coverage outside the numismatic press. bringing the reality of rare coin values to mainstream audiences who can barely process what they're reading. Think about what $55 million represents in terms of life transformation. That's the kind of wealth that doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your children's circumstances and their children's circumstances. It represents the kind of generational security that most people spend entire careers dreaming about, and it's potentially hiding in a coin that you might have spent on a parking meter last Tuesday without a second thought. The grading hierarchy for 1993 D. Jefferson Nickels reflects the intense scrutiny these coins receive from professional services. PCGS and NGC examiners who handle thousands of coins weekly approach a submitted 1993 D nickel with particular attention because the numismatic community has documented the range of varieties and errors that exist for this date and mint, meaning the attribution process is as important as the grade itself and requires genuine expertise to execute correctly. Identification techniques for potentially valuable 1993 D. Jefferson Nickels should begin with the fundamental examination any nickel deserves. The D mint mark visible on the reverse to the right of Monticello, confirming Denver origin, followed by a thorough examination of both obverse and reverse under 10-power loop with raking light designed to reveal any surface irregularities, doubling, rotation, or dramatic error characteristics that distinguish ordinary circulation strikes from potentially extraordinary examples. The human stories surrounding 1993 D. Jefferson nickel discoveries are among the most compelling in modern numismatics, including documented accounts of collectors who spent years building relationships with dealers, attending coin shows, and monitoring auction results before a specific example came to market. The dedication and passion these individuals bring to the pursuit of great coins is genuinely inspiring and speaks to the profound cultural significance of numismatics as both hobby and investment discipline. Real people, regular Americans, have held 1993 D. Jefferson Nickels without knowing what they had, have spent them, have given them as change, have dropped them into tip jars, and the knowledge that somewhere in the circulation stream of American commerce these extraordinary coins continue to travel is what makes the coin hunting community so passionate, so vigilant, and so willing to examine every single nickel that passes through their hands. Drop a comment below telling us whether you're going to check your coin collection tonight, and I genuinely mean right now, tonight, because the window of opportunity for finding circulated errors before they're discovered is always closing and never opening again. And subscribe to CoinWorth Lab because this channel exists to give you the knowledge and inspiration to be the person who finds what everyone else misses. The market trajectory for 1993 D. Jefferson nickel errors shows consistent appreciation over the documented auction history spanning the past 2 decades, driven by the combination of absolute rarity. The finest known examples of dramatic error varieties exist in quantities sometimes measured in single digits, and continuously expanding collector interest from both veteran numismatists and younger collectors discovering the field, a dynamic that creates sustained upward price pressure with no credible ceiling in sight for the most extraordinary examples. Professional storage and handling of any coin you believe might be a valuable 1993 D. Jefferson nickel error should begin immediately upon discovery. Use only cotton gloves or hold the coin at its edges, never touching the fields or devices. Place it immediately in a coin flip or 2x2 holder without cleaning or treatment of any kind. Photograph it thoroughly under multiple lighting conditions, and contact a reputable numismatist or dealer for assessment before taking any further action. The legacy of the 1993 D. Jefferson nickel in American numismatics is still being written, because new examples continue to surface, because the documentation of varieties continues to evolve, and because the collector community's understanding of what makes certain examples more valuable than others continues to deepen with each new discovery and each new auction result. As we close this extraordinary journey through 3 of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever documented, I want you to carry one fundamental truth with you. The difference between a coin worth 5 cents and a coin worth $55 million is knowledge. Specifically the knowledge to recognize what you're looking at when extraordinary fortune appears in ordinary form, and that knowledge is exactly what CoinWorth Lab exists to give you every single week. Subscribe to this channel right now, like this video, and share it with every person you know who might have a coin collection gathering dust somewhere. Leave a comment telling us which of these 3 nickels surprised you most. Check your own coins with fresh eyes and genuine curiosity. And remember that the most life-changing discovery you will ever make might be waiting in the most ordinary place imaginable. A nickel in your pocket right now. Thank you for watching CoinWorth Lab. Stay curious, stay observant, and we will see you in the next video where the coins get even more extraordinary and the values even more impossible to believe.